Yes, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people of all ages, welcome back to the premiere, the upper echelon of wrestling video casts. Why, you ask, is this the way it is? Well, let me tell you, my friend, it's because of the one, the only, the wrestling encyclopedia, Vincent Kennedy Bucci, runner-up.
Oh, yes, I am running up to the championship. That's where I'm running, ladies and gentlemen, because we are gearing up. It has been a minute, or as one of my favorite musicians used to say, it's been a while since we've been here. And I'm excited for the Royal Rumble. I'm excited to get my title back, and I'm excited because the amount of stuff that has gone down in wrestling alone since the last time we've been here is insane. How much the wrestling business has changed. We have a fine British man returning to WWE that we won't see on TV for a year, but he's working in the office. Apparently my illegitimate dad is back in power somehow. And to top it all off, it looks like we were this close to having to wear turbans while doing this show, apparently, according to some journalists who are crappy at their jobs. Yes, I'm looking at you, Alvarez. And yes, the Book of Meltzer is not gospel. Y'all wrestling fans need to learn that. But yeah, some craziness went down. But either way, we're on the first stop on the road to WrestleMania.
Wow, that diatribe may or may not make it into the final cut of this here episode of Len's World. But here we are. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to give credit to where it's due. Vinny is the most diligent and vigilant man that I think I've ever met in my whole life. He just keeps coming back for more. After whooping at the backhand of the wins here, he's coming back. It's a new year, same old Booch. But here we are, 2023, the first pay-per-view of said year. And Booch, what a way to kick it off. Live, right, from San Antonio, Texas.
Yes. San Antonio, Texas, home of the Hall of Famer Shawn Michaels.
That's right, HBK, baby, sweet chin music. He was on the 30th, the Triple X version of Raw. So much on that version of Raw. It was hilarious. DX came out, but they showed their age. They didn't want to step up to Gunther and his goons. That was hilarious. But the Uso trial, that's really what I want to talk about the most. But we're going to get to the Uso trial after we make these wham, bam, slam, thank you, ma'am, Royal Rumble picks. Listen, there's only a few matches to discuss here. Two of the matches each have 30 competitors. So there's not going to be a ton of time to get into why we think these 28 may not make it, but we're going to get to who we think may finalize those matches and who will end up facing the champion. I mean, safe to say it might be Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. 99.999% sure it will be, but hey, I've been swerved before and we'll get to that when we get to that. But Booch, storyline wise, so much to get to. Royal Rumble match. Let's start with the fairer sex, right? Let's start with the ladies. According to our friends at Wikipedia, sorry, I don't donate. I just don't. 7 of the entrants of the female match have been announced, and that's Liv, Candice, Rhea, Raquel Rodriguez, and I say her last name because some of y'all may not know, Shayna, Zelina, and Emma. That leaves a lot of room for entrance, storyline twists, celebrity wing. Booch, I will defer to the number one contender, you, for your first prediction, sir. What say you?
Well, before I answer that, I have to ask a question just so
Sure.
we can be sure. Last year, when we did this, you wanted to add something different to the review. I want to know if we're going to keep this or cut it out. I'm fine either way. There's no pressure. I just want to make sure before I make it. Are we doing this where we have a main pick and then a second backup, or are we just doing one and rolling the dice? How are we doing it this time?
I'm glad that you could remember what I said. That's great.
Yes.
So let's do it where we have the individual that we think is going to win and then a backup plan to that.
So we have we have 2 picks for each Rumble.
Correct.
Okay, want to make just clarifying, trying to get the rules right. So
you're going to lose anyway, but go ahead.
Appreciate the faith. So looking at this, the women's rumble is unpredictable to me because I have no idea where it's going to go. But I'm pretty sure, with the exception of Alexa Bliss, Bianca Belair, and the Queen of Nepotism, I don't see any of those three getting in there because the Queen of Nepotism unfortunately has her title back, which is why I don't watch SmackDown anymore. Thank you, Desmond, for scarring me for life by turning that on. But I'm gonna look at this. I'm thinking I'm gonna go with two options. My two options. My first pick, since she's not the champ anymore, I think Ronda might win it. I think I got a feeling they might bring Ronda Rousey back, although I'm hearing rumors she might not come back. I don't know what the story is with Ronda. But there's a part of me I got a weird feeling. Like I said, they're known to swerve us. She hasn't done anything to warrant being released as far as like bad behavior or any tweets or comments. So I'm going to roll the dice. It's the Royal Rumble. I'm going to go with my first would be Ronda. And my second pick, my backup pick, I'm going to go with, this is a good one. This is a good one. I'm going to say, God, this is hard. So let me see. The women. Who am I looking at in the women? Who am I looking at realistically?
Realistically, Booch, none of them are looking at you, but go ahead.
Okay, obviously, they have higher standards than that, except for maybe Liv Morgan. I don't know. But I'll go with Bailey. I think maybe she'll do it. I think she's got like a good storyline going. No. So I thought, let me take Bailey out.
Too late.
Oh, it's too late.
Too late. What's said is said. But you can go ahead and tell us who you're going to say in case I want to use them.
I was going to say Becky Lynch, but maybe Bailey. So is it too late? Is it seriously too late? Do I have to say Bailey?
No. You can have Becky Lynch. That's
Ronda
fine.
and Becky. So it's going to be Ronda, and if Ronda doesn't do it, Becky Lynch. Those are my two.
And when's Worldians, you just have to believe me when I say that I was going to choose Bailey anyway, no matter what Booch had elected here. My first choice is going to be the new and, dare I say, improved Bailey. My second election is going to be Shayna Baszler.
Ooh.
I feel like Shayna's due. I feel like she's been playing second fiddle for so long, and it's now time for her to take the main stage. So she'll be my second choice.
Yeah, she's way overdue. I couldn't be too mad if she won.
Right.
Like, these are picks where, like, I'm mad I won't get the point, but I can't be too mad because, yeah, Shayna's definitely overdue. I've already said how I've said about her. Should have won many years ago, but that's just me.
So now let's switch over to the germs, the gentlemen. We have 30 of those dudes too. And Booch, this is where my mind is doing this thing where it's thinking ahead. I'm thinking, okay, it's January, February, March, April, Mania. What is going to happen at the table? Is Roman going to eat? Is he going to eat with his family? Is the head of the table going to be up for debate? Is the head of the table, is that his spot? Really? And the reason I asked that, friends of the Wens and Booch, is because I can't help but think The Rock is going to be at the Royal Rumble as a surprise entrant, maybe the last 10 something, and he comes and if you smell, and the place and the place erupts, right? And oh my gosh, they pan to Roman Reigns, and he's like, cousin, what are you doing here? And he ends up winning, and it becomes this whole thing leading up to Mania. And I think that's the way they have to do it. I feel like that's the way they have to do it. He has to win legitimately. He has to be a legit contender. And you can't have a match where he just steps up because he wants, like, let him win because he can do it. It's believable. He's in great shape. He's in better shape than he was when he's wrestling, for God's sakes. The Iron Paradise, where he keeps it 300 degrees at all times. But that's what I see, Booch. That's my first. And since you went first last time, I'll go first this time. That's my first. And my dark horse has got to be Cody Rhodes. Like, it's not even that dark of a horse. Like, he's coming back from injury. They're doing all these promo packages. It just makes sense. So I have Rocky Maivia and Cody Reynolds Who do you got?
Okay. I like the idea you got here. And if The Rock is going to face Roman, that is the way to do it. Here's why I'm not convinced it's going to happen is because later on we're going to talk about the trial of Sami Zayn. But originally, before there was supposed to be a trial of Sami Zayn, there was not supposed to be that was not the original segment planned for that night. The original segment was supposed to be an acknowledgement ceremony that was going to have as special guests Rikishi, the Wild Samoans. They were going to bring in the Anonai Samoan family to officially say to Roman, you have earned the right to truly call yourself the head of the table. And then there was talk The Rock was going to come out during that. There was going to be an altercation, and that would lead to WrestleMania, whether like Kevin would probably take the title if that was the case at the Rumble. Something would happen. Kevin would take the title, and then it would just be Roman and The Rock, no title, just family
So what
supremacy.
happened? Why didn't it happen?
They just scrapped it. I don't know why. I don't know if The Rock's not going to be able to make it, or if they want to go.
You know what? I don't want to hear. I saw an interview with Triple H about The Rock not being able to, because they had a plan for it to be H and The Rock at WrestleMania a few years ago, but The Rock's schedule wouldn't allow. Like, how much time do you need? Like, it's one night. It's one day.
No, I agree with you. But here's the thing.
I'm sorry.
Well, here's the schedule thing. And John Cena explained this. Like, we all know, like 10 years ago, when Cena and The Rock were feuding, Cena had a lot of things to say about The Rock. It's one day. Why can't you show up? But then when Cena got into Hollywood, now has the movie career he has, he realizes that if you're scheduled to film something, if you're on a film set or a TV set, there's insurance that's taken out. Because if you get injured, and especially if you're the star of the movie, they have to shut production down till you're healed. And that's a bunch of people who are out of work because you ain't there.
Yeah,
so
but you're thinking
thing than that.
No, but you're thinking too much about other people right now. See, that's the problem. You need to be thinking.
Been my problem.
Think about yourself in WrestleMania. What's best for business, Booch? Not what's best for these jabronis, the millions and millions. I mean, can you imagine the pop? And this has to be this has to be the main event at Mania. Anything less is just uncivilized. Speaking of Lord William Regal, who you brought up earlier, that gentleman, the English gentleman, back in WWE, he deserves to die in WWE. He should die in a desk in WWE. That man is WWE.
Well, I will give Tony Khan credit. When William decided he wanted to go back, he let him out of the contract. The only agreement is until 2024, he's not allowed to appear on television. So he's still working in the corporate office. He's still working with WWE legally. He's no longer bound to AEW, but until 2024, he is not allowed to appear on camera. So we don't know what he'll do when he finally does. If he goes back to NXT to manage his son, because his son is wrestling in NXT right now.
Oh, wait. Producers are in my ears. We got to stay on track. We got to stay on track.
Sorry.
It's okay.
But based on this, here are my two picks. My first, Cody Rhodes. I've been preaching it forever. Coming back to win the title they took from his father in the Garden. There's no reason why you should build Cody up like this and not have him win the Royal Rumble. There's no logic there. That is it's WWE's done stupid things like that before where they build somebody up and don't give it. You have to give it. There's too much on the line if Cody doesn't win this. You need to tell this story. You need to put Cody over for A, he deserves it, and B, you need to create an environment where AEW guys can feel comfortable making the jump to WWE, that they can trust how they will be used, because that is the fear. That's why most wrestlers go to AEW. They feel Tony Khan will treat them better because Vince was not really good at that. Hunter is, but Vince is good at that. Especially with Vince back as the chairman of the board, you need Cody to win to create that safe space for AEW guys to make the jump. So that's number one. But if he doesn't win it, if they decide not to go with Cody, the only other person I see winning this Rumble for the second time, Seth freaking Rollins. I think Seth's
I love it. That's such a safe pick. I love it. I love it.
What they've been doing with him for the last several months alone, there's no way. If Cody doesn't win it, Seth will.
He's so over. No matter what gimmick they hand him, he just strives for excellence. He's so good at what he does. All right, so those are the first two matches. We knocked them out of the way. Just to recap, the men's, you have Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins. I have The Rock and Cody Rhodes.
Yes.
Cody Rhodes being my backup. For the ladies, you have Ronda Rousey and Becky Lynch. Is that correct? Because you changed it.
Becky Lynch.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the first one I had was Bailey.
Yeah.
And Shayna Baszler as my
Yes.
backup. Excellent. All right. So this next match, can we just move past it? Bray Wyatt's going to beat the 40-year-old LA Knight. I mean, is this even worth talking about besides the title sponsor, Mountain Dew? It's a Mountain Dew pitch black match. Ooh. I'm sorry, but I don't care. And I know the Undertaker handed over the reins to Bray Wyatt, but I've never been a fan of the dark gimmick. It's overdone. Bray Wyatt can do it the right way. I don't care. I'm going to pick Bray Wyatt because to choose against him is stupid. There's no way they're pushing LA Knight at this point in his career.
Here's the thing. Bray is going to win this match, but LA Knight should. Because LA Knight is hands down the future of this company. Yes, he's got the body. He's got the in-ring skill. He has got the promos. He is one of the most talented wrestlers I have seen in a long time. This dude literally is the guy. He's the next guy you want to strap the rocket to and blast into the stratosphere. This guy right here. Words cannot describe how happy I was when Vince finally was out the door and they got rid of that Max Dupri bullshit and finally made him who he's supposed to be, L.A. Knight. And that's not an insult. That is just a fact of life. This dude is the future. Whether he's Eli Drake or L.A. Knight, this man will draw money. This man can put asses in seats. This guy is one of the most incredible promos in wrestling today. And yes, I'm putting him up there with whoever you think is a great promo. Put him in the ring with MJF, he'll embarrass MJF. Yeah. So, he should win. He's not going to. It's going to piss me off, but I'm still going to go with Bray Wyatt because I want my belt back, damn it.
So, Booch, let me get this straight. You're saying a 40-year-old man, I'm not saying he's not everything you said he is the future of this business. Is that correct?
Yes. Remember, Bobby Lashley is damn near 50 before you start to go off on his age.
Hey, listen, black don't crack, and I think we both know that. Big difference, Booch. LA Knight is white as they come.
Yeah, you got me there.
I mean, he does have a nice LA tan.
Touche.
Touche. You know? Roman Reigns with the wise man at his side, taking on Kevin Owens. I love this version of Kevin Owens. He's just balls to the wall. This is all I got left, guys. I'm giving it my all. And I just don't care, Kevin Owens. This is the Kevin Owens that I've been waiting for. And he finds himself in a match, the match of his life. And he's built it up that way. And I believe it. Like this, I believe it. And it's hard to make me a believer in your character, in your wrestling persona, especially when we've seen so many versions of Kevin Owens. We've seen like a Y2J backstabbing. Oh, I got a steel chair. No, this is for you. You hit him. Oh, got your back turned. Got you. You know, kind of playing around the silly stuff. But now he's like, this is my time. This is it. Man, I just don't think there's a way that Roman Reigns loses this match, because again, this just goes back to what I'm saying. And I think it's going to be this guy against his cousin at Mania. And there's not a way that Kevin Owens can win. And now Kevin Owens can win this match and, disqualification, which could happen. What I'm saying is Kevin Owens is not taking this championship. That's what I'm saying. Now, if he wins the match, he wins the match. The final result is Roman Reigns walks out of Royal Rumble champion. Now we may see an appearance by The Rock after Royal Rumble. We don't know. He could be streamed in on the screen. Like it's gonna happen. It may happen the Monday after that. It has to happen. It has to happen. Like they blow this. I can't stomach the idea of wasting like a legit gimmick. This isn't like Is he really related? We'll play it like he is. Kind of like this is legit family. Like,
Yeah.
and if you're gonna do it now. No, do it now. So I'm excited about it. I'm excited about this match, even though I know the outcome. That's crazy that I'm excited about a match where I already know the outcome. Think about that.
Yeah.
So that's my take on it. What do you think?
This one would be hard to call because here's the thing. And it's like you said, you're excited for this match. The reason you're excited for this match is because of something I preach all the time on this show, creating doubt. They are creating doubt. This is one of the rare moments where Roman has been in a match and you're starting to think maybe it's finally the time. Because there's times where Roman's been in a match and we're like, we know he's winning this.
Right.
We know this is
Month
happening.
after month. Month after month.
You know it's happening. Right now, you don't know for sure. You've got a feeling, but there's that doubt there. I say Roman keeps it because I am convinced Cody is dethroning Roman. Because again, I'm convinced Cody's going to be the guy. So I think that's the main event for WrestleMania. It's going to be Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes. They're going to tie family into this. There's going to be a story to be told. You know, Roman comes from the Anonai family. Cody, the grandson of the plumber, the son of Dusty Rhodes, the American dream. Like, there's so much you can tell with this story. And obviously they already said here, and again, we'll get to the trial later, the final test for Sammy. So that means that story ends at the Rumble.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to need another story to get people invested. What better story than two guys at the top of their game at main event levels from legendary wrestling royal families?
It's so perfect. I hate it. It's so perfect. I hate it. I know Cody's going to be the champ. That's the thing. It's like, okay, fine. And that's why I chose him as my fallback plan.
Yeah.
Like if they ruin a perfect storyline, like you couldn't write it any better. It's like right here, take this silver platter and just walk on home with it. Yes. Oh, I don't know. I'll just throw it away off the side of a bridge and just go with this backup storyline that we could have anytime. They can have that anytime they want. They can do that 2 years from now, 3 years. Let Roman hold the belt. Let him beat The Rock, which he needs to beat The Rock. He's going to beat The Rock. Come on, let's be honest. He's going to beat The Rock. He should beat The Rock.
Yeah.
But I want to see the match. I want to see the match, damn it. You owe me that, WWE. You owe me. Okay, you don't owe me. But if you did, that would be great. But we deserve it. We deserve this, right? And divide the family. I want to see Jay and Jimmy. We've already seen it. You know what I mean? Like, we have a family divided over an honorary Oos. Like, this is crazy. Like, I'm feeling Oosy. Like, I thought it was stupid. What a stupid ass gimmick. Like, I hated it. I've been hating the Usos. You know, I'm not a fan of the Usos, which I've never defended the Usos one time my whole entire life. And it's like, but I'm feeling it. I'm like, wow. Like, they're really building this thing up and they're so committed to it that I'm like, okay, all right, you won me. You won me over. But
it took us on an emotional ride.
Yeah.
Like, we'll get to the women's title match, but let's just say, dude, that trial was emotion. Like, Paul Heyman just the opening thing he said, like, ECW is dead. I wish the same for Sami Zayn. And you're just like, whoa, this just took a turn. And just burying Sammy, this rat bastard is guilty of wanting to take out the tribal chief, and you assault the tribal chief with a shoulder nudge. Like, really? Like, just over traumatizing this whole thing. And then Sammy getting emotional, then just saying, I have no defense. Roman losing his mind. Solo's about to take him out. And of all people, Jey Uso. This is how writing the brilliant is.
Yes.
Jey Uso, the guy who even admitted he hated Sammy from day one, is now saying, no, he's on our side, rolls the tape of showing Sammy defending the Usos, taking all the bullets, saying, I love you, man. Just, how do you not cry during that? You gotta have a pulse if you didn't cry during that. They took you on that thing. And when he says, if you want Sammy in the bloodline, throw the ones to the sky, the entire sold out building put the ones up. The entire building. And then Jimmy finally stands up. He votes yes. And you have Solo and Paul both voting no.
Mhm.
So Roman's now, you got the final vote. 2 yeses, 2 nos. So Roman says you're not guilty for now.
For now. I don't want to
Up
see you. He
to the
doesn't want to see
Rumble.
him till Saturday. Don't
And
want
then
to
he-
see him. And that's
and then-
that's great. That
Yeah.
takes him out of the
Oh.
picture for SmackDown and all that.
And then it gets better. It gets better. He tells him, like, you'll deliver your final test. What happens later in the night? Jimmy Uso gets injured during the tag match with
Yep. And he
the
steps
Judgment
in.
Day. Jimmy's like, if you're unable to continue, you have to forfeit the title. Sammy said, Jimmy Uso can't compete. Sammy Uso's ready. And the crowd again is going nuts. Let him fight. Let him fight. And he's going, tag me in. Let me defend the titles. And he goes, I did it for the Judgment Day. I'll do it here tonight. Sammy's in the match. And Sammy wrestled like old school NXT Sami Zayn. The only thing we were missing was the dive through the turnbuckle post and the DDT. But I don't think he wanted to do that. I don't think he hadn't done it in a while. Don't risk injury. You can't be injured right now, Sammy. It'll kill everything. So he's doing traditional Sami Zayn stuff. In the end, they hit the one and done. Jey Uso said, this time you pin him. 1, 2, 3. The Usos are still the tag champs. And Sammy wins it for the bloodline. Like, they can't. This is one of the most brilliantly written storylines in years WWE has done. And like you said, it was stupid when it started. This was the dumbest thing on TV. And Sammy made it work.
Yep.
Sammy made this work. That's the thing. This was not Roman's genius. This wasn't an Uso brilliant thing. This isn't even the brilliant mind of Paul Heyman. This is all because of Sami Zayn making this work. Because even Sammy admitted that was supposed to last like a month or two. That wasn't supposed to be a long-term storyline. But fans chanted for Sammy. The Usi thing got over. All of that they were like, we caught lightning in a bottle. Fuck it, let's run with it.
Yep.
And now they know the Royal Rumble, we need to end this. So it's going to end here, one way or another. Sammy's either permanently in the bloodline, no excuses, or he's out of the bloodline and it leads to something else. So
what's your prediction before we move on to the Raw Women's Championship?
I'll say this.
Sammy.
For Sammy, I think, let me put this hypothetically. Let's say by some miracle in the sky, Kevin walks out with the championship. We both think Roman's going to win.
Sure,
but let's just say I think Sammy is going to have a chair or some kind of weapon. He's going to go for Kevin. He's going to duck, hit the tribal chief by accident, turn around, stunner by Kevin Owens, covers Roman. 1, 2, 3. Kevin walks out with the title, and then the beatdown on Sammy, and they leave Sammy laying. The Usos, Solo comes out, beats the piss out of him. The Usos come out trying to stop it. Sammy's trying to explain it was an accident. Roman somehow gets back to his feet. He spears Sammy out of his boots. And then, so the Usos might not necessarily touch him, but he's out. That's how you kick Sammy out of the bloodline if you're going to do it. Have him, because there's no logical reason to kick Sammy out of the bloodline other than for Roman to lose the title. Commit the ultimate travesty against the tribal chief. And then maybe they do the Elimination Chamber. Roman wins it back there and then drops it at Mania. I don't know. But I'm just saying that would be something. So I think Sammy's going to leave the bloodline. That could be one way to happen. I don't know. But I don't know how much longer you can keep Sammy in there. But at the same time, the fans are loving it. So because I think Roman's going to retain, I think Sammy's going to stay in the bloodline. I think they're going to keep him there for a little while longer. But if you were going to kick him out, that would be the best way to do it. Because it's like, oh, he was with Kevin the whole time. It's like he ducked. So it leaves that question.
Right.
Sammy never really turned. It was an accident, but they don't accept it as an accident, which has happened before.
Or Jimmy sees that it was an accident and he goes to defend Sammy and Jay is like, enough of this. And he turns on his brother. And then all of a sudden you have a scenario where Jimmy splits, forms a tag team with Sammy. Like there's so many different things you could do. Yeah. You could really, if you want to tear the bloodline apart, you could use Sammy to really split the Usos up, because why not? Why not see what they're capable of? I think it would be cool, and then have them come back together after a little while. I don't know. We don't have time to get into that. We'll get into that after we find out what happens at Rumble. Speaking of the EST, the strongest, the fastest, the best, Bianca Belair, the current champion, taking on Little Miss Bliss. You know, not my favorite wrestler anymore. But I really, I'm talking about Alexa Bliss. I really think there's no reason that Alexa Bliss beats Bianca Belair at Royal Rumble. I think Bianca Belair wins this match. What do you think?
Honestly, with everything that's been going down, I've got a strong feeling Bliss is going to win. Because right now, she's
like changing hands, like title changing hands, or just winning the match?
She walks out women's champion. I got a feeling.
Okay.
Because they're building her up to be part of Bray's group or this dark side thing. And I feel like it's unleashing a more ruthless side to Alexa Bliss. Because it's like I said before, when Bray returned at Extreme Rules, they had the live action version of the puppets.
Mm-hmm.
When you look at the witch, there was an Easter egg that they call, right next to her was both the Raw and SmackDown women's titles. Alexa Bliss is one of the few women in the business that have held both those titles.
Nice.
She also has a history with The Fiend that ties her into that. That's why it makes sense for her to be doing the whole possessive thing and Uncle Howdy showing up. They got something for Bliss.
I mean, it would be great if they could form a stable and go head to head against the Judgment Day.
That could be one thing. Or maybe Bray has bigger plans. Maybe if by some miracle Roman survives WrestleMania, Wyatt forms his group to take on the Bloodline.
Well, who's the female in the Bloodline? The Rock's daughter?
Well, that would be one option. I've heard 3 possible rumors.
Tamina?
There's only 3 people they could pick if it's not The Rock's daughter. If she doesn't, but she's in her own faction right now in NXT, so I don't see her getting called up. But they have 3 possible choices they can go with. Naomi's one because she's married to Jimmy. If they want to re-sign Nia Jax, that's another option.
Oh, yeah, I like that.
Or you still got Tamina on your
Tamina.
roster, the daughter of Jimmy Snuka. But because she's Jimmy's daughter, she don't get a lot of TV time, which is BS. And that could be a reason for her to join the Bloodline. We want to build up a family member who's been wronged.
Right.
Because she has been wronged. Like, it's not her fault that her dad was riddled with controversy. Obviously, the whole Jimmy, Nancy Argentina, we're not going to debate that because we can do that all day long. Even regardless of whether he actually did it or not, you still shouldn't hold that against his kid. She should not, the child should not pay for the sins of a father.
Agreed. Keep it moving. Keep it moving.
But that's an option. But I do think Alexa Bliss is going to win because I feel like I love Bianca Belair. Everyone knows I do. But I feel like she's been champ long enough. I don't know who else she could go into WrestleMania feuding with. And if you're not going to give the belt to Bayley, which it's obvious they're not pulling the trigger on that, give it to Bliss. Now, if Bianca does make it out of Royal Rumble as the women's champion, Bayley needs to win it at Mania because she should have won the belt a long time ago. So if Bianca does retain and Becky wins the Rumble, and Bayley wins the Rumble, have her challenge Bliss again and make it the final battle, and Bayley wins the title.
And I've gone cross-eyed. Booch, all these storylines, they're interweaving. They're making me confused. It's very confusing. It's a web of stories, but all of
Welcome to my brain.
All of it. Yeah, I love it. That's why you're the wrestling encyclopedia. You put it together. You're like Britannica, baby. But we're going to catch up right after Rumble. We'll recap. We'll dry Booch's tears after losing a 4th consecutive pay-per-view.
I think it's 4th. I've lost count.
Yeah, I know it's hard to keep count when you lose so much. I mean, I can't relate. I don't know what that's like, but I hear it's pretty tough. But as a humble, sentimental champion, I'm here for you. I'm here for the Wins Worldians. I'm the people's champion, damn it, because I'll show up to Mania. With that said, there are a couple things that we'll never ever leave without doing and saying first. One of which is have a nice day.
The other is bang bang.